So one of my first tips that I think is most important is definitely focus on the fundamentals. I'd say data structures and algorithms. You have to know, you have to know your data structures like arrays, hash tables, linked lists, binary search trees. You gotta know these because these are gonna be your tools to solving a lot of these coding problems. Um, First thing that should come into your mind when you see a problem, can I use a hash table? Can I use a hash table? Because that'll instantly get you pretty good big performance at the cost of some space. But yeah, big O notation is huge too. You really want to have these down. Something that helps is implementing these data structures from scratch. I believe LeetCode has some questions that ask you implement a hash table, implement a W linked list, implement a linked list. You can try those out to see if you really know what's going on under the hood. I mean, you don't have to, know every single detail, but you should be familiar with, the properties of a binary search tree, of a binary tree, a stack, a queue, things like that. And also some algorithms, definitely the sorting algorithms, greedy, dynamic programming, some of them, those advanced concepts. Because I, especially dynamic programming, I mean, that's like one of the hardest things. And I remember I got stomped in a dynamic programming problem during one of the career fairs. So yeah, definitely learn that stuff. Next tip. Let's see. Yeah, you want to understand the patterns. There's so many questions you can do. It's easy to get overwhelmed. You're like, where do I even start? Why, like, what kind of questions should I even look for? And a lot of these questions will have some patterns to them, especially like greedy ones that require greedy algorithms. The more you do, you'll start to get it'll click faster, like, oh, this sounds like a greedy problem. Maybe I can use a greedy approach to solve this. Or if it's something that requires a hash table, maybe I need to trade off space for performance. And this graphic kind of sums it up for me. You want to have 20% of your effort lead to 80% of your results. You don't want to spend so much time and solving a bunch of questions, but you don't really get a lot of benefit from it if you don't pick up patterns. You don't, pay attention to what data structures you can use or what algorithms you can use. And this really helped. I think it was my last recruiting season was in the fall. I was taking CS 161, and I got introduced to greedy algorithms, and I started doing a bunch of those problems. I started seeing the patterns, and in one of my interviews and one of my on-sites, I got a greedy problem. And I'm like, boom! I know how to do this. I know how to approach this problem. Let me get it done, and I solved it. And it's just important, understand the patterns. Yeah, like you said, also identify the type of problem, definitely. So that way you know what kind of data structures you want to use. Tip number 3, this is something I used to do, simulate the coding review. So, I mean, I'm sure now, I mean, over the past year, there has been no on-sites, I assume because of the pandemic. So everything's been, just virtual, but you want to time yourself solving a LeetCode question. Pick a random one you've never seen. And this will help you prepare to simulate the real environment, the actual coding interview. Yeah, I used to do this back when back at VDC with the whiteboards. So I would put a timer, I would get a random question, and all right, let me talk my way through this question and see if I can get a solution within the 30 minutes that I have. And if I didn't, then well, I have to try again, see where I went wrong. Sometimes I would record myself as well, just to see, do I seem nervous? Do I have points in where I'm not talking? Am I being too quiet? Am I not explaining myself that well? But yeah, and then some last tips: take breaks. This coding interviews can get really overwhelming. You can get burned out. You can get discouraged when you fail one. I know I did when I was taking interviews. You taking a bunch of interviews back to back. You're just solving questions, and it can get overwhelming. But take breaks. Take care of yourself. If you don't get one, maybe come back to it another time with a fresh mind. And then you'll see the problem in a different light. And if you really are stuck, just watch videos on how to solve the problem, and really take in. Don't just copy, the answer, but really go through it and see, okay, why did they use this instruction instead of this one? Why did they go with that approach? And things like that. For LeetCode specifically, I would say invest in a subscription for the company specific questions and all the other stuff they have, because it can help you. It'll be like, I don't even know the fraction of the money you'll spend compared to the salary that you'll be getting at one of these companies. It's not even a comparison. There's other platforms too, like algoexpert.io, that I really like. Let me type in the chat. Yeah, that's another platform. That one is more, it has a more condensed list of questions instead of a LeetCode that has all of the questions. This one focuses on really the fundamental coding interview questions that you should really know, that will give you those patterns that will help you solve like any problem they throw at you. I believe it's cheaper than LeetCode too. I'm not sure. I might be wrong on that. But you definitely don't have to buy one. All the LeetCode interview questions are out there for free. Videos. There's tons of resources. But yeah, I believe that's my last tip.